With all this concern about what may or may not happen in Cleveland when Republicans gather to select their presidential choice, perhaps we should all just relax, take a breath, and realize what's really important.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.
Everything about it is appealing.
Everything the traffic will allow. Nowhere could you have that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow.
So let us then cast off the sawdust, prepare for what awaits with the man who can put it all into proper perspective. Welcome to the studio, the Newsmax Chief Washington Correspondent, John Gizzi joins us. I'm so glad that you're here, but I'm so damn angry at myself I forgot my hat. Let us sally forth, if you will, my friend, because you've seen many of these come around. And we played that clip specifically because Donald Trump is the guy in the Washington Post who says he's pushing for a showbiz feel to the convention. Yeah, there's a part of me that chafes at that because it's the convention, but there's a part of me that says it's what the American public will respond to these days.
Well, you know something, Ed, there's always been an element of showbiz in conventions. David Petruska, the historian whose book 1932 he discussed on Newsmax, notes that at the Democratic Convention in 1932, the most popular radio entertainers of the day, Amos and Andy, were featured, brought the house down. In 1956, Harold Russell, who moved so many people, playing the veteran who'd lost both arms in World War II, in the best years of our lives, was a hit at the Democratic National Convention. John Kennedy brought Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, and his friends to the 60 convention. So with all due respect to Mr. Trump, entertainment and showbiz have been familiar features at conventions for a long time.
Isn't it, though, you have to be sure that the entertainment value and the comedy that you're bringing into it and the showtime doesn't overshadow what is really happening and what people are there for at the time? It's serious business.
Exactly. And I would say, again, with respect to Mr. Trump, that this is a convention that for the first time in 1976 commences when the gavel goes down. The nomination, in all likelihood, will be undecided. It's a convention that means something. It is not wired, stacked, scripted and packed like so many of them have been. And I would say that the entertainment will not be with dancing and music or famous stars or the glitterati. It will be in the actual wheeling and dealing from which a nominee will emerge.
Haven't we almost reached the point, though, John, where the American public, they see Donald Trump, and he is entertaining, regardless of whether you love him or not, he is. But they expect that now because we have Comedy Central, we have The Daily Show, we have so many different shows that are giving a different take on politics now. It's not so dried. You've got to have an entertainment value if you want to grab people anymore.
You know something, I agree with that, but I also agree that entertainment can come in different forms. And let me share with you how it was. 1952 was the last time someone was actually drafted without entering any of the primaries, and he became the nominee for president after insisting he wouldn't run. That was Illinois Governor Adlai Stevenson. Anyone who watched it in the embryonic stages of television tells me that the interviews with delegates who were all important, as well as the people who were trying to get support for Governor Stevenson, that left them riveted to the television set. I can say in 1976, when it came down to Ronald Reagan and Gerald Ford and their forces fighting over the rules, that was more entertaining than any late-night musical would have been if they brought it out on the convention floor.
Now, you mentioned television, so I'm going to change up a little bit here with 2 minutes that we have left and talk about television and Tim Tebow. Because the story is out right now that Tebow may want to run for office and might be a perfect fit. I said this to you earlier today. Right. I cannot see why anybody would want to go into politics when they have a chance to become a television broadcaster or really have some fun, because you're trading it for the stress of politics. It just doesn't seem like he would want to do something like that.
Well, again, Mr. Tebow, who is looking seriously at running for the now open seat in the Jacksonville, Florida area, is someone who, my sources tell me, can have the Republican nomination and election in that district if he wants it. Now, the question is, why would he want it when he has a very good gig on ESPN right now and does wonderful charitable work, and, of course, his own foundation, which assists so many people? Why give it up for Congress? Well, because it's there. He always said that the idea of doing something to assist others in the public realm is, and I quote, intriguing. And there's a sense of giving and public service in which Mr. Tebow seems to say he'd like to make a sacrifice. Jack Kemp certainly did it after he left the Buffalo Bills. Vinegar Ben Mizell, pitcher for the New York Yankees, my parents' favorite team, did it after by becoming congressman from North Carolina. And of course, Bill Bradley, the great New York Knicks star, went on to serve in the U.S. Senate for 3 terms and run for president.
I don't know why, but I have some friends who know Tim, and I almost want to contact them and have them go up to Tim, shake him, please. Shake some sense into this man. You can do a lot. You could raise a lot of money for kids and do something on the outside instead of getting involved in politics. I want to remind everybody once again, Newsmax.com, John Gizzi's column is always there. The man knows more about what happens in Washington, D.C. than some people have forgotten. So it's a time to go ahead and read that. John, pleasure, my friend. We always look forward to talking to you. And damn it, next time you show up, I'm getting a hat and I'm wearing it on the air with you.
I'm John Gizzi, and I approve this announcement.
Thanks a lot, John. Good seeing you. Let's remind everybody, you want to talk about what really is going to happen in the next 24 hours? It's the New York primary. It is the big time when everything could change. Join us for America Votes 2016. We begin our coverage, the hard line at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Then we go through our shows. The real hardcore stuff begins at 8 o'clock. I'll join you for a special version of the hard line at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's all night long. Stay with us to follow the vote right here on the Hard Line and Newsmax.